Ajax and Ten Hag have started this season in wonderful form in the Eredivisie, so far playing 10, winning 8 and drawing 1, scoring 37 goals, conceding just 2. They've also performed very well in Europe, notably beating Dortmund in a convincing 4-0 win. Today we will be analysing Ajax's tactics under Ten Hag. Also in Football Manager we are going to try and recreate that and see how well Ajax do. So if you are enjoying my type of content, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like this video and you can leave a comment. All of that helps the channel grow, but also this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. OneFootball and the RDF Tactics channel have chosen to collab once again. Downloading this app would help this channel out in many ways, but why exactly should you download it? The OneFootball app is an excellent app for football fans. It's the best place to check recent news, legally watch matches, yes, for free, and you can follow your team and be notified when something major happens. It's also great to check out the latest transfer rumours, and if you're like me, you don't want to miss out on any rumours. Transfer season can be fun. Once all the league starts up as well, it's a great app to check statistics. This channel creates recreations. Using the OneFootball app helps grab vital stats, but also you will have access to team lineups before the football match starts. This is a great app if you want to follow football around the world or get the latest news just on your team. So make sure you try it out, but it does also help this channel out a lot and gives it many great opportunities to grow. So give it a go and I promise you won't regret it. Ajax play what some people may say is a 4-3-3. However, Ten Hag has used both the 4-3-3 and the 4-2-3-1 so far this season. So far in the 2001-22 campaign, Ajax have used the 4-3-3 40% of the times and the 4-2-3-1 33%, but the 4-3-3 shape's very similar to the 4-2-3-1 in practice. The single pivot in the 4-3-3 is usually joined by the left-sided midfielder, mostly Ryan Gravenberch, whilst the right-sided midfielder will play significantly higher up the pitch, closer to the front three, resembling more of a 4-2-3-1. Ajax continuously look to have an extra runner from midfield to cause problems further up the pitch. Depending on the opponent's shape, Ajax will look to match up the centre-backs against two of their front three, whilst the spare attacker would stay high and very wide on the opposite flank. Stretching the opponent's defence also allows for another midfielder to move into the space, and high tempo circulation from Ajax means that they can drag defenders out enough to cause separation between their defensive shape. Ajax load the wing and the half space as such could break the lines and get the ball immediately into the attack. When doing so, they will often use a zigzag shape to exploit the wide areas through those one-touch combinations. In a 4 vs 2 zigzag situation, Ajax cause chaos for the opposition in stopping them from adequately marking or tracking movement. Ajax's movement as a team has been highly impressive throughout the season so far. One movement from one player would then have a counter movement from their teammate in order to create as much space for them as possible. And whilst the movement is fluid, the speed of the play is impressive too. Ajax are patient in possession but would change it up and be direct, moving the ball forward from the keeper to an advanced attack in 3 or 4 passes at times, yet all with ground passes. When being pressed, their shape has an overload of players in the first line, which means that there's always a free option. This therefore means that it's very hard to press Ajax, as the free option can be an outball to escape the press, which creates enough space for Ajax to play forward. Dortmund found this out the hard way in a Champions League tie in which Ajax dominated with a 4-0 victory. Ajax have kept 64% of the ball so far in the league, so it's no surprise they have a strong desire to keep hold of the ball and play out from the back. They have a structured build-up and can build up in various ways to varying degrees of width, depth and patience. Similarly, in the forward line, Ajax can have 6 players at a given point. Having 6 attacking players means that there will always be an overload against most formations, meaning that there's always a free option. Interestingly, Ajax have also crossed the ball the most per 90 in the Eredivisie with 21.91 crosses per 90. Sebastian Haller has been key. This season, he has hit the ground running with 2 assists, but most importantly, 12 goals in 13 games in both Cup and League. It isn't just his output that is so impressive, but the movement and hold-up play has been devastating. He showed quality in deeper and wider positions. Haller would drift into wide areas to get onto the ball and could draw defenders towards him with some intensity. He doesn't show quality just playing with his back towards the goal, but turning and facing the opponent before dribbling past defenders. When Ajax do lose the ball, they counter-press to try to win the ball back immediately. They have players close by to the opponent's nearest options, which makes progressing the ball very difficult. This press is more structured towards the movement of the ball than the opposition's player's movement, although both are important. They often close the player in possession intensely, particularly when the ball is in the wider areas. Due to their attempts to overload one side and play in close proximity, they are often well set up to win back possession right away and restart their attacks. The team also ensure that through all of their positional rotation, they never become unbalanced. In longer spells without the ball, their shape will resemble more of a 4-2-3-1. From this shape, they can press more aggressively in a more man-orientated press after a backwards pass. This is to force the opponents away from the goal, which can help them defend effectively and also to get them back into a pressing shape. Off the ball, Ajax work incredibly hard and their PPDA demonstrates this. Despite having the most possession in the league so far, they also have a PPDA of 6.59, which is the lowest, meaning the opponents are, on average, only stringing around 6 passes before Ajax engage with a defensive duel. They are also an excellent defensive unit. They've only conceded just 2 goals in their 10 league games so far, while scoring an impressive 37 league goals. But unfortunately, that wraps up this very brief tactical analysis. I have previously done a 10 Hag tactical analysis, which the link will be in the description below. Most of the tactical ideas remain the same, but for now we are going to go into Football Manager 2022 to have a look at the Ajax tactic in that game, but also how well or how bad Ajax done with the 10 Hag tactic. So now let's head over to Football Manager. So here we are in Football Manager and we have 2 tactics. Now I know some of you in the comments will say, but Ajax play a 4-2-3-1, and if I did a 4-2-3-1, some will be saying, but Ajax playing a 4-3-3. So to try and counter those arguments, I do have 2 tactics. One's a 4-3-3, one's a 4-2-3-1. They are exactly identical, apart from the Ryan Gravenberch role in the 4-2-3-1 has been dropped to the DM role, and then the central midfielder, if I can move him, and then the central midfielder is now in that central position, making it more of a 4-2-3-1 rather than the 4-3-3. So I have covered myself a little bit here. We do have a 4-2-3-1 and we have a 4-3-3. Both again are identical. So for the team instructions, the mentality, we are going to be using that positive mentality, trying to knock the ball about, probing and waiting for an opening. The attacking width is set to fairly wide. Ajax do like to use those wider areas. Their positional attacks so far, they have preferred to attack down that left hand side, which is the side on which Tadic plays. For the approach play, we are going to be playing out from the defence. The passing directness is set to standard, so that will be following the positive mentality, probing and being patient in possession, and the tempo is set to slightly higher. In the final third, we are going to be sending in mixed crosses, working the ball into the box, and with the creative freedom, we are going to be more expressive, allowing players to act outside of the tactical instructions. In transition, when the possession has been lost, we will counter press to try and win the ball back immediately, but when the possession has been won, we do not have an instruction selected. So we aren't going to counter press, we aren't going to hold shape, but in fact, we can do a bit of both. When the goalkeeper is in possession, he will look to distribute it to the centre backs, and by doing so, he will be looking to roll it out. Lastly, for out of possession, for the defensive shape, we do have a much higher line of engagement and a much higher defensive line, trying to squeeze the opponent, and the trigger press is on much more often, trying to get that PPDA of 6.9. I can't remember, but it's a very little PPDA that opponents don't have time on the ball whatsoever when Ajax are defending. The defensive shape, we are going to be using the offside trap. We are going to be forcing the opponents outside. We are going to be using tighter marking now. You can use it and you don't have to use it. Longer spells without the ball, that is when Ajax will be using a more man-orientated press. But as soon as Ajax lose the ball, they won't exactly be tighter marking. And lastly, we do have that prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Now for the player roles in goal, we do have a sweeper keeper on the supportive duty. Both fullbacks are fullbacks on support. They are instructed to pass it shorter, take fewer risks and get further forward. Both central defenders are the central defenders as well. The reason why we're not playing ball playing defenders, I felt in the system they were trying to initiate counter attacks far too often. We wanted to build up with some patience, but they do like to take more risk. They do like to try and get the ball from defence to attack fairly quickly. So we are using central defenders who will be passing it shorter and taking fewer risks. In defensive midfield, we do have a defensive midfielder who is going to be passing it shorter, and for that Ryan Gravenberch role, we could have used a few roles, but I went with the Roman playmaker. Again, he will be passing it shorter. In central midfield, we do have a central midfielder on the attacking duty. In the 4-2-3-1, he will be the central midfielder, but in the 4-3-3, he is the right-sided central midfielder. He is on the attacking duty, passing it shorter, taking fewer risks, getting further forward, joining the attackers, making it more of a 4-2-3-1 in a 4-3-3. Sorry if it's a bit confusing. On the flanks, we do have an inside forward on the left trying to replicate that Dusan Tadic role. He's instructed to sit more narrow. And on the right, we do have an inverted winger, someone more like David Neres or Anthony, and again he will be sitting more narrow as well. Lastly, up top for that Sebastian Haller role, which is very vital in this formation, and he wouldn't kind of match a target forward with a possession based tactic, but Ten Hag does it and we're gonna do it, and it works very well. So for the Sebastian Haller role, we are going to be using a target forward on the attacking duty. Again, the 4-2-3-1 is the exact same, apart from now the Roman playmaker is in defensive midfield and the central midfielder is, well, in the middle, getting further forward, making it more of a 4-2-3-1. So that there is the tactics. We can now look at the results and the data, see how well we did and how close we kind of recreated this tactic. I don't know, but for now, let's go and look at the results. So in the competitions in the Eredivisie, we absolutely smashed it. We played 34 with a goal difference of plus 104, crazy, and the points tally on 96. So you know what that means. We done the season unbeatable. We played 34, we won 31, drawing 3, only losing, well, we lost none. And we scored 121 goals, only conceding 17. We done the Invincible season. Now Ajax are by far the best team in the Eredivisie, so it's not impossible at all to finish the season unbeaten, but some luck on the way had to play this role. In the Friendly Cup, which isn't important, we won that. In the Champions League, we got knocked out by Manchester United. Now, in the first leg, if we look at the legs, in the first leg, we did beat them 2-1. But in the second leg, we lost 6-0 away at Old Trafford. I mean, the quality at Man United is just too much. We got absolutely smashed. But in the Champions League, we reached the quarter-final. Our expectation was the first knockout round. The Dutch Cup, we won that. And the Johan Cruyff Cup, we managed to win that as well. So for the stats, as you can see, we scored the most, we had the most shots for, we had the fewest shots against, the best pass completion on 91%, the most average possession as well with 55%, most tackles won, we aren't in the top 8, for the most dribbles made, we come in 3rd, for the most clean sheets, it's us, and for the fewest conceded, it is us. For the top goal scorers in the league, Sebastian Haller with 28 goals. He actually scored 28 goals in 28 games. He only started 27. For the most assists, Dusan Tadic, no surprise. Steven Bergwijn as well on 15. Ryan Gravenberch on 8. For the most shots, Haller. For the most player of the match awards, Dusan Tadic. Most key passes, Tadic. Most tackles won, nobody in the top 8. Best pass completion, nobody there. For the most dribbles made, again, nobody there. It was more of a team effort. For the most clean sheets, our goalkeeper, well, it was kind of changed. We did have Stecklenburg at the start and then Onana in the second half of the season, but for the fewest conceded, it is Onana. Now we can look at some of the data. Looking at the team attacking stats, we outperformed the average by far. For most fouls against per game, goals per game, expected goals per game, all of these statistics, we outperformed the average. The same for the general performance as well. We are outperforming the average in the league, which is kind of expected anyway. For the pass map, this is what our shape can look in practice. As you can see, a lot of pass combinations out in that wider flanks, but you can see a lot of diamonds and triangles on the field as well. So something that you would associate Ajax with, those passing networks on the pitch, and as you can see, we have a very good passing network. For the attacking efficiency, you can see that we were aggressive, but we were also clinical, which is a huge positive. For the defending efficiency, we were quiet and impenetrable in defense. For the movement, we did have lots of dribbles per game as well, but we were also reliable in possession, meaning we did make good use of possession when we did have the ball. Very little did we give the ball away. And for the possession gained, as you can see it here, most of our possession gained was before the halfway line or around the halfway line. That's kind of signaling a high press. If you are pressing high in Football Manager, you are kind of looking around this area here, kind of between the mid third and the attacking third. And as you can see, around the mid third, we have 56% here behind the halfway line and 15% just over the halfway line. And for the defensive actions, very similar. Again, around that mid third is where most of our defensive actions are. But that there is all the data and the statistics looked at. We can now look at the squad stats to see who were the top goal scorers and the most creative players in this Invincible side. So for the goals, we actually have 3 players who scored 20 goals or more. Absolutely fantastic. Steven Berghuis got 22 goals, Dusan Tadic got 26, but Sebastian Haller got 39 goals in all competitions. Not bad for a target man. David Klaassen also got 14 goals, whilst Raven Gravenberch got 10. For the most creative players, we got Dusan Tadic on 30 assists. Now let this sink in. Dusan Tadic got 26 goals with 30 assists. Absolutely incredible. Steven Berghuis got 19 assists, David Neres got 11, Ryan Gravenberch got 9, Anthony got 9, and we can see David Klaassen on 8. So for the best performers, I mean, it's no surprise, Dusan Tadic was the best performer. Steven Berghuis, Sebastian Haller, Nicolas Tagliafico, he played very well at left wing back. Mohamed Darami played well when he did play, so did Labias and Martin Stecklenburg. But unfortunately, that wraps up this Ajax tactical video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you want to download it, the download tactical link will be in the description. Shout out to Breaking Lines and Total Football Analysis. But again, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like this video and leave a comment. All of that good stuff helps this channel grow. But I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe, peace out, and God bless.